Hello?
Hey,
Sound
can
check.
you hear
There
me?
we go.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, dude. Thanks for I appreciate you taking some time to do this with me. This is sweet.
Yeah,
It's
not a
cool.
problem, man.
Good to catch
This
up.
is
How you been?
I've been all right. How's things with you?
Good. Good. Life's been
Good.
obviously I think a lot of people have had a similar previous year. So it's been
Yeah,
tough, but
that's for sure.
we'll make it through it. Shoot. Can you hear me okay? Is this coming through all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. Well, yeah, like I'm just recording this. I'm just kind of trying to do it like super chill, kind of like, just us talking, catching up. It's not really like I'm not trying to, you know, make myself famous from this. It's just kind of more just me having some cool calls on the record and just kind of talking to some cool people, seeing what I can learn, see something new and get some interesting people. So, and then,
Absolutely.
yeah,
This is cool.
yeah, cool. Well, I want to ask you, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about being a dad on social media. How's that been? That's something that not a lot of people I get to, Don and Sam, but I mean, you've been a dad for a while now.
Right.
So how's that been?
It's definitely a learning experience every day. Having a 3-year-old, she just been potty trained for a year now and never has accidents and just peed across my
Uh,
entire living room. So, new adventures every day with a 3-year-old.
yeah. Oh, that's fun.
A lot of new changes for her. She just we finally she's 3 now. We should have done this a while ago, but we took her out of her crib and put her in a bed. So
You
she's
liking
going through a
that?
lot of changes. Yeah, she loves it.
Really?
It's a lot
Oh,
of fun.
that's cool. I'm sure you guys have had fun too with it, though. I mean, being a parent's got to be
Absolutely,
one
it's
of the
one of the
coolest
greatest
things.
blessings. If you want to
Yeah.
have kids, having a child of your own is an incredible
Yeah.
blessing. But it's life changing. It's a lot of work. Kids are a pain in the ass, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
You just love them through it.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. What's new with work? I don't know if there's like a while ago we had talked and there's a point where I don't know. I don't know if I'm still not allowed to talk about that, but I was just curious what's new with that and
Oh yeah, we can talk. If you didn't know, I'm no longer with Bang Energy. I worked with Bang Energy for the last 5 years.
okay.
Most people know the company is Bang Energy.
Yeah.
The company is actually Vital Pharmaceutical Sports. Led the way with sports supplements for since 1993. I
Wow.
managed the sports nutrition department at VPX Sports, and
Okay.
through COVID, um, a lot of changes were made in my department specifically. We had to basically eliminate my department.
Really?
So a lot of changes in 2020 that have kind of gave birth to some blessings. So as you might know, my wife Abby and I opened up a retail store
Yeah.
in Strongsville called
Cool.
Foundation RX Ohio, and it's
Foundation.
managed and run by Abby.
Wow.
I also own 2 of my own supplement companies, Distinct Formulations, and then I'm building Live Large Nutrition for Live Large Fitness. So 2 brands that we're working on. I think I lost you.
Yeah, there it is. There we go.
Yeah. So two brands we're working on, and so a lot of changes, but ultimately getting to live out my passion. Hold on
Yeah.
one second.
There you go. So I'm curious, like if
There,
you
my phone was gonna die.
oh, no worries.
I had to plug it in.
Cool. So I'm curious if you want to I'm just curious what your products are, like what exactly, more, I don't know how detailed you want to go, but like, I feel free to get as detailed as you want. Cause it's just, just cool to
Yeah.
kind of hear about this stuff. So like what kind of products, I guess your own supplements. And then maybe if you want to say, I mean, you guys probably cover a mass thing at your store, your retail versus, the 2 products. I'm curious about, both and
Yeah. So I'll break it down real simple for you.
cool.
The retail store is part of a family of stores of actually 14 stores based out of New York and Connecticut, called Foundation RX. It's foundational health and wellness, vitamins and sports supplements. It's got the logo on my
Okay.
shirt.
That's cool.
One of my best friends owns the chain, and we wanted to be a part of it. And this is something Abby really wanted to do. So we opened up the store, and we represent close to 80 brands now, and
Wow.
close to $250,000 of inventory in there.
Wow.
Building a community, the foundation community, and teaching people health and wellness. As for my brand, let me grab a bottle.
Yeah.
So a couple different products. I have the pre-workout called VasoFlow Pumped. I don't know, it's
Hey,
probably backwards.
with this, I'm just ran out. I have been using Mr. Hyde because it's cheap at Walmart, but like I am
Yeah.
about to order more pre-workout. So like is there like, can I order that online?
Yeah, so you can order it from the Distinct Formulations website.
Okay.
It's dfsups.com.
Sorry,
But
that later.
actually, we're actually launching. We're working on a store website that would go along with our retail store.
Oh, okay,
That
cool.
website's going to be called frxohealth.com.
Okay.
And that website will actually have better pricing on VasoFlow.
Okay.
So created VasoFlow as a pump focused pre-workout, very, very heavy on the pump, very low on the stimulants, and very high on the nootropics. So what that means is it's going to prime your body for the optimal muscle anabolism, muscle growth. You get wicked pumps from it, a little energy kick, but not much. It's only got 125 milligrams of caffeine, so it's great to take in the evening.
Okay.
But what a lot of people love from it is that it actually has L-tyrosine in it that helps improve your mood, and also alpha GPC, which actually increases mental focus, acuity. So you're extremely focused, you feel happy, you feel good, you're getting a wicked workout, awesome workout.
Cool.
And then I also have a product called Alpha Cell 7. Now, Alpha Cell 7 is a one size fits all product. It fits into anybody's supplement plan. It is a branched chain amino acid based product that combines electrolytes, some pump ingredients with zero stimulants in it. It's that perfect add-in product to your favorite pre-workout. It can be used as an intra-workout or even a post-workout recovery. So this product fits into plans that for long distance runners, it's a great product. For
Okay.
bodybuilders, it's a great product. For the young high school athlete, it's the best possible product they could take. It's the one size fits all product for recovery.
Okay.
And we actually designed the flavors. This one's actually orange sunrise, but we have a lemon flavor that mixes with the country style pink lemonade VasoFlow, so they can be mixed together
Wow.
perfectly.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
And then also the last product. This is an old label, so the new labels look a lot better. But we have Carb Logic. Carb
Okay.
Logic is a carbolin based pre-workout or carbolin based carb product. Carbolin is the number one selling carbohydrate powder derived from potatoes sold on the market in the
Okay.
world. It's the
Carb.
number one selling ingredient. And we have that ingredient, and it's made by the same manufacturer that makes carbolin.
Okay.
So this product's very simple. It's carbohydrates in the form of carbolin, D-ribose, and vanadyl sulfate. So better absorption of carbohydrates. Vanadyl sulfate is a signaler to send glycogen into the muscle instead of storing carbohydrates in the triglycerides as fat. So it's an awesome product. They'll give you incredible energy, help with, again, another product that's a one size fits all, fit
Yeah.
into, long distance running or bodybuilding,
Okay.
powerlifting, and
So
also the young athlete.
is it kind of like and I'm completely educationalist on this. So is this like a I don't want to say meal replacement, but like is it like a healthier? Is it like an additive to a already diet, or is it? I mean, can it be both? Like, is it like?
It could be both. I mean, talk about Carb Logic
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so Carb Logic is a it's a better source of energy. A good example
yeah.
is,
Okay.
I'm sure when you played high school ball, there would be guys that would drink an energy drink before a game, or
Okay.
during the game they're pounding Gatorades, right? And
Yeah.
they're drinking the Gatorades for electrolyte replenishment, and they're drinking an energy drink to get hyped up and ready to go, and they think it's going to give them energy.
Yeah.
Well, what's important for sustained energy through physical activity is a meal, a pregame meal, right?
Yeah.
Carbohydrates to burn as energy.
Okay.
So this is a fast absorbing, quick form of energy that will allow you to perform at your highest potential
Okay.
through that activity. It's the
Okay.
energy source your body needs. So
Okay.
like long distance, cyclists, they eat those goo gels or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
carb load. That's exactly what this is. It's the
Okay.
same
Okay.
premise.
Okay. So could it be used could it also be used in like a sense of like, I know I'm not a huge breakfast person. But if I were like someone that was going to go to want to work out in the morning, like, could it be used as like a before a workout kind of like, is it like that fast absorbing, or is it kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, we're
okay.
talking within 30 minutes of
Okay.
drinking it, it's already absorbing in your muscles. And we actually produce a unflavored carbolin that can be mixed in with protein powder or mixed
Okay.
into an oatmeal or cream of rice or
Okay.
something light before training. It's awesome stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. What have you been doing with training recently? I'm just curious. I mean, I see you're obviously still huge.
Kind of took a back seat to training a little bit with COVID and everything,
Mhm.
but I reworked my diet and my training. I was still thankfully allowed. I was able to get into the gym without issue, even during lockdowns.
Yeah,
But
that's cool.
my training definitely changed. I've been working around some injuries.
Mhm.
No plans of doing a show anytime soon. But I'm getting my body back to where it needs to be in a healthy state. A lot of us, I know a lot of people that gained a ton of weight during COVID, a
Yeah.
ton of weight.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be one of those people because I was already heavy
Mhm.
when we're going into the
Yeah.
lockdowns. I was already heavy. So
Yeah.
I focused my time on cutting down quite a bit.
That's good. I think that's a good thing. It really, your experience during COVID was really determined by yourself. Like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on around you, but like it was for some people, like what you're saying, and also kind of for me, it was a time where like I cut out all that extra distraction in my life, and I was able to really focus on. For me, it was like my music. That was like one thing that I've been like kind of
Right.
I want to do this, but like I haven't really actually done anything. It's all been talk. So like now it's like, well, I can't do anything else. So this is really the only thing that I have, and I think that was, I mean, that's a cool thing that I guess a benefit that came from COVID.
Absolutely. I mean, what it did is it eliminated the most common excuse is that
Yeah.
you don't have the time to do something to better your life or
Mhm.
reach a goal. And then, that was of all the bad things that happened because of lockdowns, that one certainly was a good one.
Yeah.
It forced you to, it gave you time. It gave you the time needed to pursue those ideas, goals. I assume this podcast was founded during that time too,
Yeah. I was just
right?
being bored
So
and not having a lot to do and just
yeah,
kind of, sitting around being tired of doing the same old, playing Xbox all day. I was like, I want to learn something and just kind of starting reaching out to my buddies. I talked to a buddy from mine from high school that started this, he went to High Point University and started this uh, nonprofit foundation called Water the World. And they
wow,
take solar panels or sorry, solar powered water filtration systems, and it's like $1,400 or it was some like they have like different options. There's one that's like on a wagon, and it's like a big like 50-gallon maybe thing that's on a wagon that has a filter at the top of it that like goes down into the thing, and they can take it to a water hole, fill it up, and by the time they bring it back to their village, it's like filtered. And it's like stuff like
wow,
he has those, and then he has like I forget, I'm not really good at the he has like a newer one that's like a bigger kind of like almost like building kind of center maybe for something like that. But he just bought like a mountain, like the side of a mountain in Haiti for like $1,100. He said because like they're building like a charity. Dude, it's just really cool stuff, and just getting to talk to like it's been cool like doing the podcast is what I'm saying. Is like I'm grateful because I get to hear these like cool stories from like people and just kind of see, you know. I never would have, I guess, like
right.
asked to, get that deep in a conversation with him or with you or like some of my other buddies. So it's cool. Like I'm excited to like get to not be bored and
Yeah,
learn some stuff.
for sure. That's
Fun to
that's a
learn.
really cool conversation to have. That
Yeah.
guy's seeming he's got something that he can change the world with, and that's
Yeah.
really incredible.
If you did want to hear about it, so I will say I'm not trying to say check out my mixtape, but it is on
Yeah.
it is on one of the other it is on I do have a video of it on YouTube, and it's within like the first like 15 minutes he talks about that. So it's like, it's
Wow.
fairly short, but it's really cool. So yeah, that's Water of the World. But anyways, so we're talking a little bit about diets and stuff, and I'm curious, like as someone who's I've always you know me, like I've always been asking you for diet stuff, and I've actually done one of the Polkwan diet back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's a viciously hard diet
Yeah,
too.
that's
And
also
you
that's
were one
good.
of the few people that did it all the way through too,
Yeah, it was tough,
and
but like
some.
I just remember, yeah, I ended up doing it for like 3 months. It was only supposed to be like 40 days, but like I was just
Yeah.
I felt really good, dude, because I got to a point where like in the beginning I had really kind of cut down with like overall like I was eating like no calories, like I was having very little, and then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I can still make this work for me, but still like enjoy these food options because I
Yep.
got bored with the plain chicken and salad every day and
And
mustard, like
and that's the purpose.
yeah,
That's the
I got
purpose. Like
tired of
you
it.
you you, you reset yourself and you form a foundation of your eating habits, and then you fit in the macronutrients that you need after
Hmm.
40 days. So that 40 days is the reset, and then that next 40 days is adding in the fats, the carbohydrates, keeping the protein high, but
Yeah,
then fitting it to maintain where
long term.
you're at.
And that's
Yeah,
and
long
that's
term.
where I guess kind of fell off is like once I started once I started kind of leaning back into those things, I leaned too many of them back in, and and then kind of just ended up going back to the
We've all done it.
Yeah.
All of us big guys have done it.
Yeah.
Any of us who've lost weight, we've gained it back at some point. And it's always a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious, like, I guess now, there's that was, 10, 15 years ago already, which is crazy. But
Wow.
I guess, like, what would be is that still something you say like, I'm still sticking to that? I love that. Or is there maybe like a new type of style? I guess, keto was big for a while. I don't know if that's something you support, or kind of like any new styles or I don't want to say styles, but yeah, I guess just what do you have to say about stuff?
The more research I've done, the more I've come to the conclusion, which has always remained true, is that you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. That's true for keto. That's true for any kind of diet. Veganism, that's true for every diet. If you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose overall weight. So I'm a big advocate of the I'm not part of the if it fits your macros crew, but I am I am part of the making sure we pay attention to our macronutrients, right? So your diet should reflect your goals, your health goals. If your goals are just to be healthy, then you should know what your maintenance is. You should be eating high protein, moderate carbohydrates, moderate fats. For me, it's a lot different because I still want to compete and still want to do competitive bodybuilding. Right now I am low carbohydrate, medium fats, and high protein. That'll change based on how my body composition changes. Mm-hmm. As my fat percentages go lower and lower, I obviously want to, because bodybuilding is body recomposition, right? Mm-hmm. It's big muscles with little fat, which are contradictory if you think about growing and shrinking, right? Shrinking fat and growing muscle. Well, how do you do that? Well, you cut down the fat, and then you add in the right amount of each macronutrient in the right amount. So the right, either in a deficit or what's the word I'm looking for? Well, if you're not in a deficit, you're in a
gain or positive.
Yeah, in the positive. I don't know why.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Surplus. The word surplus. The word is surplus. Yeah. So you need a caloric surplus to grow. But it's using the right foods to trigger the right mechanisms to reach your goal. So right now my goal is to maintain muscle and to burn fat, and I'm down to mid 240s. My goal then is now going to be maintain fat levels and grow muscle. Okay, well I can do that if I don't go completely out of whack. So I'm going to be adding calories in, increasing one specific macronutrients, which is going to be carbohydrates, keeping my training the same, but I'm going to increase that. I'm going to increase my calories from a deficit to a slight surplus. So, 100 calories a day above, or 50 to 100 calories a day above my maintenance. I should theoretically in 6 months, maybe put on a pound or two of fat, but I should be able to keep a lean look while building lean muscle.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, and that's what we're always working towards as bodybuilders. And some of us are, genetics plays a huge role, but the most important part is the food and figuring out how your body works. So
okay, interesting. So I'm curious, what kind of resources would you use for like someone like wanting to look at, if you were like, hey, someone, you don't want to sit down, you don't have the time to tell everybody, explain them all, you're like, hey, check out these resources. Like, what are your big go-tos for like research and but maybe even stuff on like resources for diets and even like stuff like that?
I don't like to overcomplicate diets. I mean, most of us know that there's foods that you should eat minimally, and there's foods you should eat a lot. So I think it's very important to track everything you eat. The biggest issue people have with diets is they don't really know how much they're eating, or how much they're actually taking in. So a good example of that is a buddy of mine was eating what seemed to be a very lean diet. He was eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of meat, and from a bird's eye view, it looked like he had, he was not eating a ton of food. However, it was very calorically dense, and if you're not burning, calorie is a measurement of energy. And if you're not burning that energy, it becomes stored energy, and that stored energy is fat, no matter if it's a protein, a carb, or a fat. So he was putting salad dressing and not measuring it out on every salad and all his vegetables. He was using sauces. Well, just in sauces alone, to be in a deficit, he needed to eat below 2,500 calories. So his food portion wise was about 2,200
Wow.
calories. So he was 300 calories below his maintenance, which means about he should be losing roughly about a pound a week in a week and a half. However, he was adding almost 1,000 calories of uncalculated sauces to everything he was eating,
Wow.
sauces and dressings. So he was actually eating 3,200 calories a day.
Yeah.
So he's gaining
So
weight.
yeah, that makes sense. No, that's it sounds very similar to like budget school. Like when they teach you how to have a budget, they're like
Yeah.
every budget 101 is track it all. Like get a checkbook or something like that, or like do something. Just as long as you're aware of. It's so easy to just not be aware of what you're spending. And like I guess I kind of recently. So my fiance is a dietitian, so she like knows very like simple. She can talk deep about it, but she's also like, there's people that aren't going to listen. And so like, I do just have
Mhm.
like the things to hear them. And like one of her simple things that she says is caloric deficit. That's what she says it comes out to. She also doesn't like macros. She's not a huge macro person, but she's just straight up like, caloric deficit is like the key to it. That's what we,
Not to cut you off, but I'm glad you said that because the biggest the biggest issue I have with the macro people is the macros are, if you're eating a specific macro number, so like your protein's 150, your carbs are 100, and your fats are 20. Let's just say those are someone's macros numbers. They're not taking into account calories, calorically dense foods. 7 ounces of chicken is not as calorically dense as 7 ounces of pork, depending on the cut.
yeah.
So if you're if you're only paying attention to the macros, you might be eating in a severe deficit one day and in a severe surplus the next.
Yeah.
So she's spot on. That's
That's what she did. And I think that's exactly, that's pretty much exactly her. And I agree with that argument because I didn't know, I was that person that was like, this up and down. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm eating healthy all week, but no, I'm not, like, cause I'm like not paying attention to little details like that. Like I would have, pork chops one night with a side of broccoli. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fairly healthy, but no, it's not. Cause like both of those things are very like dense in, I think, and in carbs. Broccoli is like higher in carbs and stuff like that. So I think I was eating a lot more than I thought I was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's not a ton of calories in broccoli, but it's also, if you don't weigh your meat out, you don't know how much you're actually eating. You could be eating a lot more than you think. Or, I go to a restaurant and if I get brisket, I have to have barbecue sauce, right? But again, that sauce,
no, that's fair.
Sugar's in that sauce. Is there 40 grams of sugar in that sauce? And even if it's just lightly basted, or ribs. A lot of restaurants will brine ribs, meaning they're cooking it in sugar.
Yeah.
They're boiling it in sugar before throwing it on the grill. So
you have to add that into,
you have to add that into what you're tracking. So what I do is I track my food every day. I have the free MyFitnessPal app, MyFitnessPal app.
Yeah, like by Under Armour.
By Under Armour. I use the free version and I just track everything daily. Now like I said, I don't pay attention to the recommended macros that it gives me because I know what mine are.
Yeah.
But it's a good way of tracking my calories in my food intake.
Okay.
So what I look at is how much protein I'm eating, how much carbs I'm eating, how much fat I'm getting, and how much fiber I'm getting, and where is that falling calorically. So it's a great tool because just like a checkbook, you know where you're at with everything you eat.
Yeah. Okay. And what else, like, you'd use that to kind of check your food? Are there other resources you kind of look at for, maybe even finding like someone who's new to work? Like, so it's different for us, like that have played football before, because like we were just, we know how to work out essentially, but I know a lot of people, like as I get older, I find a lot of people like, there's just a lot of people that really just don't know anything because they've never played a sport. Like they were never involved in something like that. So like they go to the gym and they don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah. So I always say, even the best athletes have coaches. So I'll go back to bodybuilding because that's what what I do now. So sport wise, I don't do athletic things anymore, but the best bodybuilders in the world, the guys who are the biggest, the strongest, the healthiest looking, whatever, they have coaches, every single one of them, because you need someone who's going to provide guidance, instruction, and put together a plan.
Okay.
And then teach you how to execute the plan.
Mhm.
I mean, ultimately, it's going to be up to you to execute the plan, but you need someone to formulate a plan, because if you try to do it yourself, chances are you're going to fail over and over
Mhm.
and over, because it's not something that you fully know anything about.
Yeah.
You need an expert to do that for you and make life easier, especially if you're an adult providing for your family, and you got to fit this health thing into a small window. You need someone who can put that together
Yeah.
for you, help make it easily understood and easily executable.
Okay. Okay. I would say that's definitely a lot of people that I know that, and that I was kind of referring to, is like a lot of people would not really know where to start. So I guess, yeah, having a coach would be a good kind of thing. Is there, aside from having our, so let me, I guess there's two options with that. There would be like paying a kind of coach for that concept, or for that kind of thing, and maybe having somebody to go with you to the gym, versus are there any resources that you know of online where there's people that would say like, hey, this is, I don't need to go with you to the gym every day. We can just chat over something like a Zoom call, or like you can send me an email and kind of we talk about our goals. Are there resources like that for
Yeah,
people that maybe need something?
absolutely. There's a lot of great coaches online, and online coaching is very simple. They have you, like, typically what an online coach will do is they'll have you send pictures of your, of how you look
Mhm.
with your, a full body shot, front, back, to track progress, and then they'll check that progress for you. But then they'll also, they'll also calculate your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, and your resting metabolic rate, and then they can tailor a meal plan based on foods you like to benefit, to make it easy. They can build the plan for you once they get to understand you,
Okay.
understand what your lifestyle is. So finding the right coach, there's many different coaches, but a lot of online coaches are great to work with, because what you're paying is a flat fee
Mhm.
for them to provide training, diet, and then also teach you how to execute the plan. Now, that's the most convenient type of trainer, but
Mhm.
the kind of trainers I like are the ones that are full service in the gym, right? Because one thing I notice is people can learn how to eat right, and people can execute that very well. But when you go into a gym and there's a lot of equipment you've never seen before, and you see in different kind of people lifting weights, you can be doing the same movement as the guy next to you, but not working the same muscle. So it's very important
Yeah.
to learn how to move the weight properly. So
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't learn how to properly build muscle until I was pretty much through college. I knew how to get strong because that's how we train. We train for
Yeah.
explosiveness.
Yeah.
But how do you specifically isolate a muscle and train it properly for overall health and wellness? It's
Yeah.
completely different than how we train for football.
I agree.
And the only way to learn that is not going and trying and doing it, because you don't know what you're trying to feel. You
No.
don't know what you're supposed to feel.
Hmm.
Someone who a trainer who's in there every day, knowing what you're supposed to feel, and can teach you how to feel what you're supposed to, the correct movements, and what you should be feeling, and what you need to adjust to feel, said muscle being worked. It's important.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's because I can't tell you how many times, like growing up, it took me. I mean, I've never worked out like at the, I guess at the level of that you have, but I'd say also well through college, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I'd learned how to use my chest primarily for bench. Like I had to take weight off and just like start over, because I was using so much my arms for bench, and I was
Yep.
like, this just doesn't feel right. Like it needs. And then once I kind of felt like really focus on like the kind of where you're going and being able to like take weight off, because I would just go in and try and think I was super strong and just try and put a bunch of weight on there, and I would end up using so many more muscles than the one that the specific one that I needed. And I felt like I
Mhm.
was just working out so much, but not working out, if that makes sense. Like I was like going in and I would feel so tired, but like I wouldn't even really do
Yeah.
anything. It's because I realized I'm just trying to He-Man everything, and it just wasn't working. So
Yeah, I call that burning calories, right? You're doing when you go in there and you just lift and you don't know what you're doing, you're not executing a specific plan, you don't know what you're feeling, you're just burning calories. You're not actually getting better. You might be
mm,
losing more fat. You're burning energy. Are you getting better is the question. Are you being productive in the gym? Or are you wasting your time? Right.
mm-hmm,
First off, stepping foot in the gym is never a waste of time. So
mm-hmm.
that you can check that off. But not executing the plan is a waste of
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, that's
If you
true.
don't
That's true.
properly execute, you're never going to reach your goals. Like
Yeah,
there's guys since I moved to Cleveland, there's guys I've seen in the gym since I moved up here who look the same as they did when we first stepped in the gym.
yeah,
And their goal may not be to get necessarily bigger,
yeah,
but there's a compounding effect of proper eating and training, which is a healthier looking physique, which some guys
Yeah.
just can't figure it out.
Yeah. What's your I'm curious what your favorite part of like working out would be, like all, and maybe there's not one specific thing, because I know there's definitely like just I mean, yeah. What are your some of your favorite things? I guess why do you work out, or what's kind of like your thing for,
Why do I go to the gym
why do you
every day,
love it?
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Why do I love it? I mean that's can be broken down many different ways, but I think the most simple is um, when I was done playing football. I'm very extremely competitive. I've always wanted to compete. I want to be able to compete professionally. It was never in the cards for me.
yeah.
But when football ended, I got football ended, graduated, got married 2 weeks later, and it was like, what next? What do I do? I played sports my entire life, and it's just gone. Well, a lot of my friends, what they were able to do is focus that competitive energy into their work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tried that, and I'm still competitive, but there was no physicality to sales. I mean,
Yeah,
it was fun. Selling product is a lot of fun, and getting to meet people and travel, and I could be very competitive, but it was not fulfilling.
yeah,
I'm not a money hungry person, so
okay,
money's just there to provide. I'm competing, but it's not fulfilling. Well,
yeah,
so that was one thing. Competing against myself, doing something physical is what I love in the gym. And secondly, it's been the ultimate stress reliever for me. I've got a lot of friends who, after sports, got into different ways of coping with stress of, life, job, everything. And that's either alcohol or drugs. And both of those, whether you can, if you like to drink, well, you can handle that. I mean, there's a lot of people who handle that, don't become alcoholics,
yeah.
but it does lead to a destructive path.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, don't go out and have drinks, but there's a lot of my friends that would go home and the first thing to do is crack a beer. It's like, and they fall into this
Daily.
pattern where all of a sudden, a year, 2 years down the road, they're extremely unhealthy. They're unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no direction. So lifting for me, it was stress relief, it was competitiveness, and it also provides, it makes me a productive person.
Mm.
So when I lift, I don't listen to music at all.
Really?
No music. Nope. And when I do, the only time I have my earbuds in is cardio.
Have you
Because when
always been
I'm
that way?
lifting,
Like, have you never, is this like a newer thing, or have you just never listened to music while you lift?
never listen to music. We didn't at football.
Yeah.
And big, we all trained at the same time, so it was intense. We were in, we're out. No one, and you have to get instruction from coach. So you don't have earbuds. So I just took that straight into when I graduated college to never having earbuds in the gym. It was foreign to me as it is. And then I heard a guy say, I'm trying to remember who said it. It was Guy, or not Guy Cisternino. He was, I can't remember. Some famous bodybuilder said, if you're in the gym and you're executing a plan, are you focused on your training, or are you focused on the music? More than likely, you're focused on the music to get you hyped to then execute the plan poorly. So
Okay.
I don't listen to music when I train, because I'm there for a specific purpose. And now even more so, I need to get in the gym and out of the gym and have the most productive workout so I can be home to my family and not spend 3 hours at the gym.
Yeah.
So
So you don't want to make
no
it like
music.
a fun thing. It's like, I'm here to do my job.
Yes, I'm here to be productive,
Mm.
execute the plan, and then get home. Now, what I will do is I'll put my earbuds in to do cardio on the treadmill. Sometimes I'll listen to music doing that because it's monotonous, right?
Yeah.
It gets your mind off doing the most monotonous activity you can do in the gym, which is
Yeah.
walking on a treadmill.
Yeah.
But then I also like to listen to motivation podcasts
Mm-hmm.
instead of music, because you get the guys like um, Chad Wright or David Goggins, those guys
Yeah.
that were
David
Navy
Goggins.
SEALs.
You guys are insane. Some of the stuff you
Insane.
hear about them doing, you're just, I
Jocko
don't
Will, yeah,
get it.
Jocko Willenick, right? These guys getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning every day. It's like, I want to get to that level of intensity, because guess what? Those are very successful people
Yeah.
who are not easily shaken, who've seen some things that, none of us will ever see.
Yeah.
Have been through some hard things. So there's a podcast I like to listen to called 3 of 7
3 of
podcast.
7. Okay.
His name's Chad Wright. So Chad uh, had no direction in life, and he only
Say
wanted
that.
to become. It's Chad with 2 D's, by the way.
Okay.
Chadd.
Is it
Right.
on like
Uh,
Spotify? Chad Wright. Yeah.
yeah,
U.S. Navy SEAL.
it's 3 of 7 podcasts. Yeah, he's a Navy SEAL.
Okay.
But Chad has a cool story, because he didn't have direction in life, and he wanted to do something important. And he lived in a small town in Georgia, and
Cool.
he wanted to do something difficult. So he knew if he went to the Navy, he would have a shot at becoming a Navy SEAL. When he graduated Navy, he was prepared to go to the BUDS training, which is the basic underwater demolition SEAL team training, which is the hardest training in all the military, the most insane. They bring in like 176 people get into the training, and 11 people make it through.
Wow.
Insane. So he said, I'm going to become a Navy SEAL. Well, come to find out, he had a cyst on his heart. And they said, this cyst will probably never give you problems, but if you get down into depth in the water, it could explode and kill you. And the Navy is not willing to take that risk of you dying by going into training. So they medically discharged him. But he was so intent on doing something big in life that he went and had an extremely invasive open heart surgery to remove a simple cyst, to just have the opportunity to even. He's the only one in the Navy who's ever had this condition. But he wanted to be a SEAL so bad that he did that, just to have the opportunity to go back to the Navy and say, I had the surgery, I had the cyst removed, I'm cleared. Can I get a shot?
Wow.
So that was a year additional process.
Wow.
But when he came back, they accepted him into the SEAL program. And while he was there, he's like, the only thing that prevents you from you accomplishing your goals is you quitting. If you just eliminate quitting, you're going to make it through. So that was how he talked about his SEAL training, getting into SEALs, was that everything they did in BUDS was difficult, but everybody that was there had the capability of doing it. I mean, it wasn't something like, it was a matter of, do you want to do it? Are you mentally tough enough not to quit? Are you mentally tough enough to keep going? And what I've noticed is that, whether it be Chad Wright, Jocko Willenick, David Goggins, they all have that same mentality. And that's a very, very intriguing mentality to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Being a true badass.
Yeah, no, for real. That's definitely, I don't get some of that stuff. And I would love to have that kind of, I don't know, I guess, have you found a way that you can develop or like condition that kind of thing? Like, it's like, I'm not very great. I'm not going to lie. I've always wanted to be that person, but I am prone to give up easily, but like, it's like, I know it's something you can work on. I know, because I see there are people that can, and there's people that can't. And if David Goggins can do it, I'm not saying I could do the things that he's done, because he's just a freak, but like, if they can do it, then I'm also a man with a heart just like they. So like, I'm able to do that, but like, it's just, I'm curious if you have any ways of like, or maybe it's working out, like what you're saying is over time, you kind of just build up that I'm not going to stop. You start building up your badassery thing.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, one thing that's very clear is that no one's just automatically that way. It's learned. It's hard work. It's continuing to work to become like that. Right. So one thing all these guys have in common that obviously you and I don't have is they came from military, and they also were at the military at the highest level in SEALs. So they've got that foundation. Well, now I'm learning that foundation from them, right? How do I apply that to my life, or how do I apply that direction to my life? How do I not actually do the things that they do, but apply the same approach that they have?
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to be a David Goggins or Chad Wright. Chad Wright runs not ultra marathons. Chad Wright runs last man standing ultrathons, where they run 100+ miles, and the only way you stop is if you quit. So it's absolutely insane. I don't want to run.
No,
that's not me. But that no quit mentality is if I look at every aspect in life, if I can instill that in my kid,
Mm-hmm.
if I can instill that in my life and I can pass it on to my child, like she's going to be a powerful woman when she gets older.
Yeah.
So I want to learn that, and and through that learning process, you're going to fail a lot, uh, but you're going to learn how
But
to
again,
win a
do you
lot
want to
too.
quit?
Yeah,
Like, do you
right.
just don't quit? Eliminate quitting. Like that's yeah. I
Eliminate
mean
quitting. Yeah,
that's like I guess it's the most like it's so funny to see like once you start realizing like part of me with my growing up has been kind of like actually understanding all the things that have been in front of me my entire life. Like how many times have you
yep,
seen the poster? It's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up. Like that's so true. But now I'm kind of understanding like it's not it's just don't quit. Like it's just so simple.
right.
Like I hear that I'm like, oh yeah, that's cliche. Like yeah, just get up. But then when you think about it, it's like no, that's really all it is. It's just like don't quit. Just keep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny.
it,
You guys are
it,
kind of
and it's funny how we're now putting that together, while back in the day it was just a poster you saw on the gym wall or the
yeah.
locker room wall, and you read it 100 times and it was just like,
Okay.
okay,
Cool.
Michael
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah. Exactly.
now you understand how that is
Yeah.
applied in life,
Yeah,
and
and it's
it's
exactly.
really,
It's becoming applicable for you. Like you're like, this is how I can like keep getting back up and not with that. That's yeah. What's
yeah.
what are you a morning gymmer or evening gym goer or do you switch it up?
Well, I mean, depends. My schedule's so all over the place now. And it was, back when I was working at Bang Energy, but my schedule is all over the place. So I prefer, like, if in a perfect world, I would do cardio in the morning and lift in the afternoon.
Okay.
But my schedule is when I can fit it in.
Yeah.
So sometimes I lift in the morning, sometimes I lift late at night. It's I got to get it in daily. I got 24 hours and I got to fit in my training once a day for at least an hour at some point.
That's your so is that your
So
rule though? Like you try and as much as you can go once a day? Or do you like you're like, no,
yeah,
I always go once a day.
well, I try to at least do something
Yeah.
once a day. It's not necessarily lifting every
Yeah, yeah.
day. Like yesterday, I moved a bunch of boxes, did some cardio, but I didn't lift anything because I also listen to my body. Like your body's going
Yeah.
to tell you if you need to keep going or need to quit. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just your mind telling you need to quit or take a rest. Um, but when you start having physical ailments, like I'm dealing with my shoulder, like I feel like it's arthritis in my
Yeah.
shoulder. I don't know, but my shoulder's telling me to take time, but that doesn't mean take time off from training. That means take time off from training this.
Yeah, yeah.
Still get in and put in the work. So that's
Yeah.
I'm focusing on at least doing
Just worth it, yeah.
something every day.
That's good. What time are you like are you a morning person? Like do you get up, do you have like a routine of which I'm not trying to like roast you because I don't either. I'm just curious if you have like some type of routine or anything like that.
No, the only
All right.
routine I actually have at this point is making sure I eat my meals at the same time because I eat the same food at every meal
Really?
every day. So making sure my meals are prepped and that I'm eating at the right time every day. That's the only
Yeah.
thing that stays the same. I'm not a morning person, but it also doesn't take me long to get up. Like when my alarm goes off, it goes off once.
You
I
don't
get
so
up.
you're not do you think that's a big thing? Because
I,
I'm a snoozer.
yeah, I mean, I purposely put my phone across the room, and when
That's
it
good.
goes off, I stand up and I go and get it, and I realize I'm now standing. I'm not going back to bed. That's for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 in the morning like a Jocko Willenick. It's when I wake up, it's
Mhm.
time to go. No matter how I'm feeling or anything,
Yeah.
my feet are on the floor. I'm standing up. I'm going.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be productive.
Interesting. I forgot to ask you. So you said if in a perfect world you would do cardio in the morning, lift in the evening. Just for you,
Yeah.
why would that be the perfect for you?
Well, so I'm not a big proponent of the quote unquote fasted cardio, but I do feel better getting cardio, having some distance between my weight training and my cardio. So I would love to do cardio in the morning, get it done and out of the way because I hate it,
Hmm.
and then have 4 or 5 meals in me before I go weight train.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that split to me is much better for me than having doing what I'm doing now, which is maybe have one meal in me and I go and I lift and I do cardio, or having 7 meals in me and I go and I lift and do cardio. I want to
Yeah.
split that up.
I see. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I was just curious if there's like a benefit. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Are there any sort of I don't want to say like a meme, maybe like viral things you see about dieting and eating better that you hate, like stuff like keto? Like I know Molly's really against the keto because she's just like, it's not like, are there any of those that you are not that you don't are I guess, yeah.
So hold on, I just knocked my light off.
Is that Phil Heath right there over your shoulder? There's a lot of Phil Heath.
No, I don't have any Phil Heath. So
That's not
those
Phil
are
Heath? Ronnie Coleman. Oh,
no,
Ronnie
I don't got
Coleman?
any Ronnie Coleman.
I guess it's a little too blurry. That's not, who is this right here?
You got the big black guys, right? That's
Yeah.
So no, I got behind me. I got Jay Cutler, Dexter Jackson. So you're probably looking at Dexter, Heidi Tada Yamagishi, Steve Kuklo. Who else? Big Rami, Johnny Jackson. Those are all guys I got to meet in the industry.
Really?
Which has been pretty cool. Yeah,
that's really
big
really
name
cool.
Guys.
Actually, the one time Aaron, sorry, you're us. Aaron and I came down to Arnold. I got to meet Jay Palmer. Like he's just walking by real quick. I like got to dap him up quick as he was walking through the crowd, and all those people were like kind of pushing me out the way, but got to see him. That was cool. But do you have like a favorite bodybuilder, like your favorite guy that you like to follow and kind of see?
Yeah, so I really like Dorian Yates. Dorian was 5-time or 6-time Mr. Olympia in the 90s. He's when he retired, he was the definition of hard work. The guy had a documentary series called Blood and Guts. No one worked harder for his goal of being Mr. Olympia than he did. Really? The guy was not physically gifted. He was not blessed, but he lived like a hermit in the UK. He worked his butt off nonstop. He didn't go to parties. He, lived bare bones. And when he went to the gym, he trained harder than anybody there. Incredibly intense. But at the same time, when he won all those titles, when his career was over, he walked away entirely.
Really?
So he reached his goals and he goes, what's next?
Yeah.
So I really liked watching him. He also changed bodybuilding. He was the first, what they call mass monster. He was the first guy that when he came out on stage was like, holy crap, like that's possible?
Really?
They
so
called
like
him,
that big.
Yeah, they nicknamed him the Shadow because he was so big that when he walked out in front of the lights, he just looked like a giant shadow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Dorian Yates. I'm gonna look at it too. What's that? Do you remember the oh dude, what was that? I remember getting so pumped. It would I would watch this. It was a documentary that you used to show me, and Aaron and I would watch it all the time. And it was like I would watch this video and go to the gym for like twice a day for like 3 weeks straight afterwards because I'd be so pumped up about it. Like it was like it had like all of them on it. It was one of the most it was one of the first I don't want to say mainstream, but it was I think it had like Arnold on it like back in the day, and I know it's where I was introduced to like Arnold, Phil Heath. It like followed the guy through like his daily routine too. Like there's one of those where they like followed him through. Oh dude, who was it?
There's a bunch of those kind of films. There's like Generation Iron. There's Pumping Iron. There's one where they followed Kai Green.
Yes, I do remember Kai Green. Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was. There's a lot of documentaries like that. They just get you pumped up because they see how hard these people got to work and diet to build that ultimate physique that you see on stage or in the magazines or on social media.
So I'm curious if you have so I followed Kai Green like a really long time ago on Instagram, like when I first got on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so I followed him kind of through his thing. Do you kind of maybe have like a soft spot in the sense of like, cause I do in the sense that I feel like I've seen him working so hard. And from what I know, has he won in a Mr. Olympia yet?
No. So he quit competing in 2016.
Oh, really? Okay.
He kept getting second to Phil Heath.
I remember that exactly. And I remember him feeling so bad for him because he would just like be so close, but Phil Heath was always just that extra.
If he would have stayed around, he quit competing. If he would have stayed around, I think he would have won. But it was one of the things where he felt like he got screwed out of the title because, and it's, I hate saying that because it's a subjective sport, right? Yeah. It's not about size. It's about shape, symmetry, everything. It's
Okay.
the full package, posing. It's bringing the absolute best package. So when you're placed in front of a panel of judges and they're picking you out like cattle, you know, there's nothing more that you can do when you step on stage that in preparation. Now you're there. Did you win or did you not? And he had questions about one of the about the last time he competed. He thought he should have won, and there's arguments to say he probably should have. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then he stepped away entirely, and that's
that's on him.
It is what it is. But that's
you
can't control the outcome.
Yeah. I've seen him do a lot of acting stuff, which is really, I mean, I think he's in a way kind of just like, it's not like he's changed significantly. Like he's still a freak. Like he's still huge. He's still working out all the time and he's doing stuff like that. So I think he also kind of maybe just had a different realization of what's next versus like, Dorian was kind of like, I won all these, now what's next? So I think he's still in the same way, was able to be like, okay, you know what? That's the thing of, what else can I do with this? How can I, because I mean, and not to like, I hate how I'm sounding because he still was second place Mr. Olympian so many times. Like that's something that's like nobody else can, not a lot of other people can say that. Like he still made it to the final spot. Like, that's
top two in the world multiple years.
Yeah, not just like one or two or three. Like he was there. Like I remember, like wasn't it like 5 or 6 years? Like Phil Heath, like and him were like the final. I thought it was like quite a few. Like there, It
was a few. Yeah, Phil Heath won 7 titles and won 7 titles, and now Phil's actually going through that because there is a peak in this sport. Like you can't do it forever.
Yeah.
Once you start losing, likely you're not going to continue winning. So Phil Heath lost to Sean Roden a few years ago, and then had an injury, sat out last year, and Brandon Curry won. Phil made a comeback finally this year and got 4th.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, he's going into that where he's getting older, his body's breaking down, doesn't look as good as he used to. What's next?
Gotcha. So I'm curious with like like every few years there's that revolutionary player, like in any sport, even like NBA, like there's like Kobe, but then there's LeBron. Like there's always like that new, like, and now there's always like these just new, like, are there any new guys that are like notable? You're like, dude, this guy's a freak. Like I don't know if it works the same with that. Yeah.
So there's Big Ramy, who has a very difficult name to say, so they call him Big Ramy. He's from Egypt. He won the Mr. Olympia this year.
Really?
And he's always been in the top 5. And his biggest critique of him is that he's never been conditioned enough to win. He's always the biggest, and he always looked, his symmetry is incredible. He's just
conditioned enough. What is it like? What does that mean?
Meaning he holds water. His skin's not thin enough. He doesn't see all. You don't see all the lines under the light. So when you look at his quad, you should see the separation of the inner part of his quad and his outer part and the middle part. You should have deep lines, vascularity. Like you should look shredded.
Yeah.
When you're on stage, and for many years he had the total package, except for that where he just looked soft. You got to look like you're made of rocks.
Yeah.
And he just looks like he was made of pillows. Yeah. So this year was the first year he came in, what they say, conditioned, and it was no question he's the winner.
Really?
And it was incredible. And if he can do that, he's going to be the winner for the next 7 years at least. Big if he's able to continue doing that. And then another one, a very intriguing guy, is Hadi. His name's Hadi Chupin. Hadi is from Iran. And he competed at the Olympia for the first time last year. And I take that back. Phil got 3rd this year. Hadi got 4th. Okay. Hadi's an up-and-comer from Iran. And he had a battle to even get to the U.S. to compete last year to get permits. But Trump allowed it. Trump said, hey, he's one of the best in the world. We'll allow this one Iranian to come to the U.S. to compete. And he did again this year for the Olympia that was held in December. But Hadi, being Iranian, being disconnected from the U.S. and then coming over here and competing against the best of the best that he never gets to compete against is it's very intriguing because he looks incredible. Like he could easily be the Mr. Olympia. Yeah. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he improves year to year, because you get one shot to see him in the U.S. and that's at the Olympia.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet him in Dubai.
Really? I saw you were there recently. Was Dubai amazing?
I was there. I wasn't there that recently. I was there in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. Wow. I guess yeah. Last year was yeah. Sorry, it's been
well,
quite a while.
it was November of 2019, so it was
Okay.
not that, or it
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago, but long enough.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing cities in the world, hands down. Yeah,
Just
truly incredible.
did you kind
Um,
of feel like you were in the future? Just because that's how I feel when I look at
abs-
pictures, like just seeing everything, like
Absolutely,
videos and stuff. Like it seems like it's just not of this world. How they have like
it's
things going.
futuristic. Yeah, and what's even crazier is if you look at the pictures from Dubai in 1985, it's a desert with one building. So
Really?
essentially, that city popped up in less than 20 years to what it is.
Wow.
Incredible, and it's very unique. It's actually, it's in the Middle East. It's got a lot of Europeans and a lot of Indians that live there. So it's a weird melting pot of
Really?
culture with a Middle Eastern feel to it.
Yeah.
It's this very cool city.
I noticed that you said like even the two young guys that you had meant or newer guys I should say were one was Egyptian, one was from Iranian or from Iran. I in the past like I've never really known this to be like a outside of the U.S. like bodybuilding's just I guess from what I know it's always been like really big in the U.S. But would you say it's like definitely becoming notable like in many other countries or has it always been and I just didn't know that?
The culture has shifted. So it used to be massive in the US and now it's a niche sport. It's not talked about on the news or anything now in
Yeah.
the US. It's got a big following because of social media and but internationally, India, Iran, like all the Middle Eastern countries, bodybuilding is the sport. Most people think soccer is the sport. Bodybuilding is the sport.
Really?
Crazy. So when Phil Heath won the Olympia in his last time he won it, which was 2017, 27, let's say 2017.
Mhm.
He had a party at the at the one of the casinos in Vegas. I think it was like 50 or 60 people. Did a magazine shoot the next day, and now everybody's focused on next year. He's the winner. There, no one outside of his community and his people cared that he won. Right? It's not.
Yeah.
People went on had a good time in Vegas. When Big Ramy won this year, and he landed in Egypt, he had a police escort and a parade of like a couple thousand people. Thousands
Wow.
of people lined up to see him.
Wow.
That's
So
crazy.
it's like the main thing. It's like that's yeah.
Yeah, matter of
Wow.
fact, a good example of that is Ronnie Coleman. Hasn't competed since 2006 or seven. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Long time ago. The guy has had many surgeries. He's in a wheelchair. In the U.S., he can go to a big expo and people appreciate him, say hello to him, and
Yeah.
want to see him. When he's in Dubai, or when he came to Dubai, there was a 6 hour wait just to
Wow.
see him. He was treated like a king. It's insane, absolutely insane.
Wow. Yeah, I'd definitely be going overseas more than too.
Yeah.
Did they do any like have any like alternative to the Arnold this year? Did they do the Arnold? They didn't do it this year, did they? Or like maybe it's
No, so they canceled it last year, right when the lockdown started happening. Matter of fact,
yeah.
the first major event canceled was the Arnold, which was the biggest sham we've ever dealt with because basically hundreds of thousands of people were scammed out of their money by shutting down the Arnold and not rescheduling it.
Wow.
This year for 2021, they pushed it tentatively to September.
Okay.
So no idea what's going to happen. So the only real expo that happened this year was the Mr. Olympia that
Mm,
was supposed to be in Vegas that they moved to Florida and had it in Orlando. And it was an awesome event. It was not like
yeah.
a normal expo, not like a normal event, but it was
This will
awesome. It
yeah.
was it felt like normal.
Cool. Cool. I hope do you have a I don't want to get too political, but I'm just curious if you have hope for getting back to somewhat of a normal. Like do you feel like we're kind of getting there now with the vaccine coming out or is it just kind of still no one what do you
It
saying?
well, that we know that when this started, what was the main thing that they were pushing on the news? New normal, new normal, new normal. And I said, regardless of if this virus is really bad or mild, the narrative that's being created is a narrative that's a very dangerous narrative.
Mm,
And that is hand over your freedoms and let the government take care of you, which is terrible.
yeah. No matter how, yeah.
What we're and I was very vocal about how I felt about all this, and got a lot of backlash from family and friends. But here we are, and nearly a year later, and I was right. We're still wearing masks, and even if, let's say, even the state of Ohio, if DeWine says, all right, the mask mandate's gone, that he started, by the way, in July, mask mandate in July till now, supposed to be 30 days, and here we are still wearing masks. When they say the mask mandate's not going on anymore, we're still gonna have to do it on airlines. We still might have to do it in the restaurants. We still may have to do it going into Walmart. And the biggest issue I have with it is it's not backed by science. Yeah. It's to make people feel better. It's a compassionate approach.
Yeah, and no, that is an issue.
That's a big issue, right? And because that we can head down a rabbit hole that gets even deeper, and more freedoms can be taken away to the point where we're not free citizens. And we've seen that all over the world. And we need people to wake up to the fact that, if you hand away your freedoms, you don't get them back. And there's a compounding effect to giving away certain freedoms that affect other freedoms you have that you're going to lose that you want to keep.
Yeah. So no, you're absolutely right. It's definitely, it's interesting to hear from the people that, come from countries of communism, and they say, like, guys, stop. Like I've heard multiple people that come from like places, like, they're like, no, I was like, people from, I don't know exactly, like the Philippines or something. It was not, maybe not that. It was like it was somewhere else that had lived under a dictatorship, came, and they're like, guys, be careful. Like, this is how this kind of thing starts. Like, there were like lots of people having issues with it. So it is scary. You're right. There's a big rabbit hole that no one knows. And it's just like the new normal.
The dangerous path we're headed to. And I think, as Christians, we got to take an approach that is compassionate, but not woke. One issue I'm seeing is that the Christian church has become woke, and it's like, listen, you can have a compassion for a scenario or a stage of life that people are in or dealing with, without conforming to it, right? You can stand firm. You can wear a mask out of compassion, or even if you are fearful of it. But when you start mandating other people to do so out of compassion, tyranny out of compassion is never compassion. It's tyranny.
It is
so we need to be compassionate about people's situations, but also stand firm on our beliefs. Stand firm on what's biblically correct. We're going down we're in a scenario where there's a revolution in the church right now, and it's either going to go down a bad path, or I don't think it'll go down a bad path.
I don't.
Ultimately, God wins. But
I'm with you on that. Well, I know you said you only had an hour, and I think that's a good note to end this on. So I appreciate it.
Great conversation. A lot of fun.
Yeah, dude. I'm really, this is fun. I definitely, I'm going to try and get some more episodes, but it would be cool to, see what else we could talk about, catch up in the future. But yeah, dude, this is cool. Sure. I want to keep doing this. If you have other people too, by the way, like I'm always, like I told you, I just want to learn. And if there's other people that you are like, hey, this person would love to just talk, and you could learn some stuff from him too, send them my way. Cause I would just love to kind of just like I'm just doing this so I can learn, and I'm posting them on YouTube so I can go back and kind of check them out again. It's not like I said, I'm not trying to do anything with it, but it's just cool to like just talk with people. And I hope someone else can watch this and learn something, and kind of hear from you, and kind of hear the takeaways, and just so
it's a lot of fun. Cool. I definitely have some guys you can talk to. Maybe one of my business partners would be a great guy to talk to. He's doing some things that are really cool. To be great conversation.
I would love that.
So I'm glad you're doing this, because it's a lot of fun. I've never been on a podcast before, but this is cool.
Cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So I
appreciate it, Dave.
I said hey, and I hope
you're doing well.
Hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon.
See you, man.
Later, man.